What up, everybody? Thank you for joining me on Fast and Tierious, where we learn about scaling HubSpot partners who have run the race, where they're at today. Joining me today is Heather Park, co-founder of Geekly Media. Some claims to fame, 2019 Rookie of the Year. Woo, woo! Get back. They are a HubSpot partner that niches on the housing industry and are currently a diamond partner. Welcome to the, Heather doesn't like doing podcasts, but welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. Heather, how are you today?
Hi, Matt. Great. Yeah, tortured, but great.
Thank you for entering my torture chamber. As we go through this. Yeah, I did not know Geekly Media won Rookie of the Year until right now. I think that's a really cool thing, especially as we talk about, so you actually started Geekly Media in 2016, won Rookie of the Year 2019, which means in my small brain, that means to me that you started HubSpot after you started the company.
That is correct.
I think it's what led you to saying we're going to win Rookie of the Year in 2019? What led you to become a HubSpot partner?
It's a little bit of a windy path there. We started to throw a wrench in things from the very beginning. We weren't Geekly Media. We were RentBridge. We changed our branding in 2022. And the main reason for that is, we were very heavily niched in the property management space. And HubSpot was sending us lead after lead after lead, not in property management, and they would land on our website and wonder how they got there. So anyway, we ended up rebranding in 2022, but we launched in December of 2016. We were RentBridge, and we were a consulting firm. My husband Michael and I owned a single-family residential property management company. We sold that, started RentBridge, would consult with property managers, obviously, and kind of grew that practice for a little while. Once my husband joined the firm full-time, we were trying to just kind of find the best fit for his various skill set. He's the smartest human I've ever met, and that also makes him one of the most infuriating. So he's really good at everything and doesn't like anything that he's good at. So he was quite the odd asset to add, but invaluable nonetheless. But when he came in, we were trying to figure out, how to scale this consulting agency. And I kept telling him, he was looking at all these different platforms, Sugar and Salesforce and blah, blah, blah. I kept telling him, we're not a technology firm. I need you to focus. I need you to just do what we're supposed to be doing. And then HubSpot comes out with the Service Hub in 2017. And now I can't fight it anymore. And now he's like head first into HubSpot. So that's kind of how that whole thing started. Our first year as a partner was in 2018. And then I guess it was the way that the Rookie of the Year rules fell. You had to have a full 12 months. And so I guess ours fell in 29. I can't really remember, but some little nuance there. So yeah, started using it at 17, became a partner 18, Rookie of the Year 19.
What made you choose HubSpot? You're not a tech company. You're like, hey, I want to be more. I interpret this as saying, hey, let's be agnostic. Let's just teach people where they are. Let's not have this opinion. Yeah. We're going to lose deals for that. What made you eventually say HubSpot versus Sugar or versus Soho or versus Salesforce?
So Sugar was probably the one that we paid the most attention to. And because we knew what we needed. We needed a hub, for lack of better terms. We needed a centrally located platform where we could both communicate with our clients, market to them, email them, all these different things. Well, we also were looking for something that our clients could use to implement the recommendations that we were providing. And there really wasn't anything. So when HubSpot came out with Service Hub in 2017, we were an embarrassing amount of money into trying to build our own version of that in Sugar. And we were going to, because you can white label Sugar. And so we were going to build our own platform. We'd hire all these developers, spent, again, an embarrassing amount of money. And HubSpot releases Service Hub, and I'm like, flipping tables. All right, well, we don't need to do this anymore. Well, we'll just use HubSpot. So that's kind of how we landed on HubSpot. But the long and short of it is, it was an ecosystem. It's a business operating system, and we saw that from the day they launched ticketing. It took HubSpot a little longer. HubSpot, I don't know if I ever shared this story with you. HubSpot kind of, but also not kind of, very directly told us to go away, that we were not a good fit for HubSpot. Because we explained what we were trying to do, and they were like, yeah, real estate's out. We don't do real estate. you're not going to just find something else. And we
Wow.
were like, okay, so we go away. I'm like, oh, that was kind of unpleasant. Not what I was expecting, but we couldn't find anything else. So we come back and we were like, just let us try. We're just going to try. Well, millions of dollars later, they now advertise to the real estate industry, and it's a great fit, but it was not at first.
I had a call. With quarterly, I had the opportunity to talk to Yamini, usually quarterly,
Hmm.
and she was talking, or we're just listening to her quarterly calls and then meeting with her, talking about it. Real estate's one of the fastest growing portions of HubSpot now.
I know.
Like how you,
Yeah.
so what I hear is you changed HubSpot's collective mind and led them to water. That's awesome. Uh,
I didn't say that.
yeah, that's what I said. That's what I heard. So, which is uh, which is what you didn't say, but that's okay. So as we're talking this, you're 2016, 2019 Rookie of the Year. Now you're standardizing on a platform that allows you to more holistically serve with an opinion, giving and I'm sure as you're changing, but giving the housing industry, the real estate market inside of that, the ability to scale. Where are you today? So you're now Diamond. What does the employee look like? What is revenue like? Where are you at? And then what do you want to do next year?
So today, yes, we're Diamond. We have about these days, including all of the different branches of our company, we've got about 30 employees. We are still very heavily niched in the housing industry. When we started, we were solely niched in a niche of the housing industry, very small lane, single family residential property management. That was it.
Hmm.
So no multifamily, no commercial, no traditional real estate, only SFR PM. So we came out with this product called PMOS, Property Management Operating System. I got the email from HubSpot today introducing the ecosystem, and I'm like, yo, I've been telling y'all, it's been an ecosystem the whole time. But anyway, so that was PMOS, our first product that kind of put us on the map. But then we expanded into traditional real estate, and then multifamily, commercial, et cetera. Now, as of 2023, we've got a full branch that just focuses on the roofing industry and roofing marketing. We do not offer an OS, nor do I have any interest in offering an OS for the roofing industry. You can share that with Adam. No thanks. He's doing a great job. But we did start offering roofer marketing in 2023, and that has gone really, really well. We had roofers, way back when, but we didn't really focus on it until recently. So that's where we're going in 2024, is opening up to that market.
So everybody knows who Adam is. For those who want to know, he is, if you've heard homeless HubSpotter, he has a home now because he would say it to the super, which I'm excited about. But he's the homeless HubSpotter that does OS operating systems for roofers, called Roofing Business Partners.
Yes.
So
they're fantastic.
So 2024, what are the dreams? And then I'll take us to how we're going to get there, but also the challenges you faced in becoming where you are right now, which I think is very important to talk through.
Okay, so 2024, where we're going, we are heavily focused on roofer marketing and polishing our other OSs. We don't have any intention of creating any other OSs. We have PMOS, REOS. There's enough. So those are they are analytically our biggest money makers, with a handful of smaller exceptions, but they're also the most difficult to implement, execute, scale, service, etc. Anybody that's been a consultant or serviced I would say, heavily customizable system like HubSpot, but then you turn it into an entire business operating system, will know it's just a never-ending cycle of job security. Let's put it that way. But so we're not touching any other OS systems in the foreseeable future. We're focusing on what we're calling Hub Geekly. It's a internal hub that we're creating. We kind of already have a little bit of a version of it, but it's where all of our custom training will live. It's where people can come in and buy their PandaDoc licenses and buy additional content. It'll download and be deployed to their website automatically, and things like that. That we do those individually, and we supered those things now. We call it geeked. But all in all, we're centralizing a lot of those. Yeah, we have 3 supered products now. We've got the seats, the implementation, and then the ongoing management, and those are our geeked products. But we still can't not call it supered, even to our clients. We're not doing a great branding job.
That's that's super okay. We're let's uh, so you talk about where you're going. To recap this, and I think there's a lot of learning. You having done this now for 6 years plus before owning a business, is
Mhm.
you have standardizing OSs. You have probably
Mhm.
year after year created some or upgraded these operating
Mhm.
systems that allow you to go into different niches, expanding your TAM
Correct.
and giving you the ability to create reoccurring impact and reoccurring revenue with these different types. And now
Exactly.
you are still doing roofing marketing. And it's probably it's not
Mhm.
OS as much as it's still an operating system for
Correct.
marketing that you're focused on
Mhm.
this year. And then
Yep.
that allows you to continue to scale. And it sounds like you're very clearly thinking about scale and and profit margin at any given time, which I heard that as you're
Yes.
talking. I was just like, these OS, that's why people standardize, right? So
Yeah.
it's, as you think about these,
Scalability. Yeah.
that didn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen by
Mhm.
accident. What are, this is a hard question, and to dissect 4-6 years, what are initial challenges? What keeps you up at night right now for your challenges? Like, what are the things you're thinking about? I mean, I wish I could solve these three things.
Oh, that's a hard question to answer. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I'm like a professional worrier. So what keeps me up at night is yes, all the things, everything. But beyond that, more specifically, I would say, cash flow is always a thing. There's always another resource I want to add. There's always another department I want to expand. There's always another toy I want to buy for the agency. So cash flow is always a thing. Specifically, quality control right now is my biggest, I would say, not pain point, because the team is incredible and it's not them that's the problem. The problem is, as you scale, I in my own brain lose visibility of the quality control, which to me, I swear I'm like a dog sometimes. Out of sight, it might as well be dead. If I can't see it, I have no idea what's going on, and it's probably a disaster. I might have trust issues, but I have incredible second in command, incredible team, so I have no legitimate reason to be worried about any of these things, but it is something that I always worry about. Just visibility, quality control, cash flow. You know, if it's not perfect, why do it? So that's kind of where I get a little stuck sometimes.
I love it. And the hard part is you like a dog, you can probably sniff poo really well. So every now and then you're like, I can't see this. I'm not worried about this, but that smells bad. And so you
Yep.
find poo, and then it validates and you're thinking it creates worry. So understand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of these systems out there to give visibility. Popular one,
Yeah.
EOS, but
Yeah.
there's all these other big ones to give all this visibility.
Yeah. We use EOS. Yeah.
Uh, what were the initial, what are the challenges you face in building you call agency, I'll call it consultancy, on how you're building operating systems as
Sure.
well?
Mm-hmm.
What were the initial challenges? And you think, looking back, these three ones that you're very proud of overcoming that
Mm-hmm.
allowed you to be where you are today?
I would say the standardization of PMOS was probably easily, I would say, the most difficult challenge that we had to overcome. We launched PMOS. There's a whole story behind that too. They should make a movie out of that. It was super dramatic and unnecessarily so. But when we launched PMOS, it wasn't standardized. It was, sure, welcome to McDonald's. What do you want on your burger? Like nothing streamlined. It was, I'm going to ask you all the questions and do exactly what you want me to do.
It was
Terrible plan.
McDonald's with the drive-through without any of the actual standardization in the back end.
Yes, it was early McDonald's. It was in the beginning. But yeah, so no, it was, choose your own adventure. And there's absolutely no way to control or scale anything like that. So we had people spending, they were happy to do it, but we had people spending years building out these operating systems that did not need to be so complex. The thing about property management specifically is that it's not a single business. My husband says this all the time. It's like 8 businesses in one. You're running a leasing company, a maintenance company, a cleaning company, a locksmith. You're everybody. And so condensing all of that into one centralized location where you can manage all of the bodies, and scaling a property management company, every door you add, you're adding at least 2 more humans that you have to talk to, if not 4 to 6, because you've got the tenants and the owners. And anyway, so now you're cramming all of that into HubSpot, which was a marketing tool at the time, and hoping that it was going to streamline processes. Thank God it worked out. It's one of those things where we could see it, we knew it was going to work, but we didn't really have any proof yet. And so it was, scary getting past that. But the streamlining of it was the hardest part, the first big obstacle to get past. So my husband, being the nerd that he is, came up with what he calls the Borg. Let me, side story. I did not know what a Borg was. Why would I? None of our team knew what a Borg was.
And everyone has a hive mind. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He wanted to Borg PMOS. Well, we get into this mindset and now we Borg everything. Every employee that starts coming in is Googling, what is Borg in marketing? What is Borg in HubSpot? We fail to tell them, no, this is a fake word. Don't worry about it. But so we Borg PMOS and get everything up to about 85% of it, 85% of it, 100% the same. And at that point, the other 15 to 20% you can customize, but it's customizing within reason. It's now very rare that we will start from scratch and build an operating system from the ground up. And if we are, it's for good reason. It's a massive conglomerate that just is not normal. But those are the exception, not the rule. So again, scalability, streamlining, Borg was our first big obstacle to get past.
How did you control for supply and demand and cash flow during those times as you've been growing? And I've found service companies, because it's a people business, that tends to be difficult because you have to have the demand but the supply at the same time. How did you solve for that in your business?
It was difficult. Our biggest obstacle in solving for that was actually finding the people with the skill sets to learn both HubSpot and property management, having never been in property management. So we kept finding ourselves in this position of trying to decide, okay, do we go get somebody with PM experience and train HubSpot, or do we go get somebody with HubSpot experience and train PM? Neither were easy. And so it ended up being kind of a hybrid mix of everything. We were very fortunate in finding a couple of our clients that were selling their businesses, or their businesses were being purchased and they were transitioning, whatever. We do not poach, is my point. But we were able to bring some of them over, and that ended up being kind of the launching point for establishing a training program that we could bring in more staff to support the demand. The demand was there. We were very fortunate in that sense.
And I'm going to translate what I've heard. Sometimes I translate incorrectly, like I did at the beginning. Hopefully this one's correct. Is because you niched. There was a immense need for what you were offering, and there's never, and I'm hearing you haven't had an issue of demand. You have had an issue of supply. And what you had to do as part of your competitive advantage is bring and create a robust training program on HubSpot and project and PM, and have both those in-house so that you can scale. And you could not scale unless you had those.
Yes.
For quality control.
Exactly.
Now you're having different quality control issues.
Yes.
So you just needed that as a basis. Go.
Yes, exactly. Michael, my husband, spent 3 months doing absolutely nothing but creating our training program. And we use it to this day. It's been, updated and things along the way, but we use it today.
And what platform do you use internally for training people?
There's actually several. We used in the past Teachable, which is where we just housed all of our training. Then when we incorporated IORAD into the training, we moved to LearnUpon. And so LearnUpon integrates with HubSpot, and that's where we are today. We also have an intranet that kind of houses all that. So that's a third, but that's just a custom intranet that we built.
I was just like, that's a difficult problem to solve? And I know there's a lot of different ways. It's helpful to hear how you solve it.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you look back, and this is a bigger statement, so I think they're fun, is we're going to go through what is one thing you would never do again and you'd recommend no partner ever do?
Oh my gosh. That's so hard. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can only pick one. I would say sum it up as shiny object syndrome, which we all have. But trying to be, even within a niche, trying to be everything to everyone, even within your niche, is a mistake. And it's a really difficult mistake to avoid. We still make that mistake sometimes. It's too tempting. The price tags are too big. The demand is there. You know it is. You can see it. It's right there, and you know you can solve for it. But you're basically building another business at that point. Why? You got to focus.
So there's it's one, we don't talk about it often. It's hard to niche because it's scary unless you know it. You came in with industry.
It's very scary.
It's very difficult to niche. It is even.
But shockingly, I didn't tell you this part. We didn't niche at first. Maybe that was our biggest mistake.
Well,
when we came to HubSpot, we didn't. We let the doors open.
Next question is, and I'll finish. What one thing you wish you did earlier? So we may have the answer already. But like, what you never do again, is post having what you're focused on, and you've seen success with it. It is, maybe it's human nature to see what you've built and say, man, I could replicate that here and look at what has. It is so difficult to create another operating. Like you forget. That's why people have babies more than once. You forget how painful it is, right? Like you just forget the birthing process of,
exactly.
So it's like, once you have something, like go in it and you can make slower increments versus this big. If you do it, it needs to be for a good reason with a business plan, because you're starting another business.
Yes.
So.
Exactly. You really are. And you've got to staff it and support it. And oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's all of it. It's all the things.
It's a thing. All the things.
Said, what's the one thing you wish you did earlier? You talked about, I wish we niched. What's that story? You said you came understanding property management, but you didn't niche it first.
Well, the backstory there is we are serial entrepreneurs, and we already had a separate marketing agency. It was Park Digital Marketing. We were nerds. Again, it was Park DMC. So we were servicing pretty much local businesses. And so we ended up folding in the marketing agency to only service the housing industry. And that was when we ultimately decided to go ahead and niche. But it was hard. It was scary. It was exactly what you described. You're afraid of, it's FOMO. You're afraid of everything that you're going to miss out on by saying no to everything outside of your industry. But it was the best decision we ever made.
Yeah. Is as the kids in California say, niching is bitching, right? Those people in California. Okay, so thinking about big bets, you were thinking about 2024. What is the big bet you're making for the future? And are you considering or having a dream of getting to elite as part of that vision? 2 questions, but what's the big bet? You're like,
so that's a great
if
question.
This thing fails, then it's going to be difficult to hit our goals.
What we call RMA. So we like acronyms,
DMC,
I guess.
RMA, PMOS. Okay.
There you go. So yeah, PMOS, PMMA. So we have a product called Property Management Marketing Advantage. It's kind of like a operating system, but just for marketing, and it's just for PM. Well, we also have an REMA, just for real estate marketing. We launched the roofer marketing version of that. But what's different about it is that it's heavily segmented into commercial versus residential, and it's omni-channel. So it also includes radio ads and television spots and connected TV and digital out of home. And so it's big. It's a lot of resources, a lot of expertise have been pulled in to cultivate this new product. And that's expensive and time consuming. So if that were to not go well for some reason, that would definitely hamper our future financial goals and aspirations and things like that. We'd have to pivot, but we're really good at pivoting. Sometimes too good. And yeah, ideally, we don't have to do that. I would like for this to work well.
As part of that big bet, are you mentioned Adam, are you going with other partners, or is this something like, are you doing nearbound? The cool kids are talking about nearbound. So are you doing nearbound, I guess?
Nearbound? No, but not for any good reason. It is purely an attention span issue at this point. There are only so many hours in the day. And it's brand new. We launched, again, we had one major roofing client in 2020. Well, we had a smaller roofing client and a major roofing client in 2023. And then we're taking all of that past experience and then our older roofing clients and rolling all of that into a big launch for this year, which was, it launched actually at the end of last year. So all of this year, that's our focus. But yeah, it's not that we're not going after relationships with other partners. It's just that we haven't yet, I guess is a better way to say it.
Heather, is there any last thing you would want to give someone going out to start a HubSpot partner consultancy? What is your one sentence advice you'd give them?
Oh, I don't want to say I have a love-hate relationship with HubSpot because there's absolutely zero hate. It is a love question mark relationship with HubSpot these days, mainly just because of all of the changes. We've come to this point in our agency, and if you had asked me a year and a half ago what our relationship with HubSpot looks like today and in the future, it would have been unequivocally zero question. We are a HubSpot agency through and through. We'll never be anything but. Today, there's been a lot of, cages rattled, so to speak, and changes going on, and maybe some foundations not feeling quite as stable as they were in the past. So for the first time ever, we're having to open our eyes a little bit to at least entertain the concept of other platforms. We are not yet going down that path, but we're considering it. So I would say when it comes to whether or not you are wanting to start a new HubSpot agency, you have to look at it holistically. You have to look at it as in, are you willing to integrate with other systems? Are you willing to employ the development capital, the human capital in the development team to openly integrate with anything and everything? Or are you going to be a HubSpot agency? And this is different if you're a marketing agency versus if you're more of an enablement agency. We call it operational enablement. I think what you're calling a consultancy. So depending on who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, just go in eyes wide open. A lot of people, I think around the time that I was starting, they went into it for the commissions. The commissions are amazing. They're fantastic. They may have been something that we could have even hung our hat on and lived on in the past. Today, that's not quite the same. It's still incredibly valuable to us. I'm not, discounting any of that, but it's not quite the same blueprint, footprint, whatever you want to call it. So going in eyes wide open and just making sure that you're looking at it, again, not through rose-colored glasses, but from the perspective of what are you willing to do in order to be a HubSpot partner? Or do you need to be slightly more agnostic and just develop who you are and what you do as an agency, not necessarily based on the platform? So I wouldn't recommend one way or the other. I would just encourage that people ask themselves the question up front.
That was not quite one sentence, but good advice nonetheless. What's up? No,
my bad.
This reality is, it's why, it's super. We are we're cross platform. And so it's just like always have eyes wide open, what it is. Cause one thing's guaranteed. There's a couple things guaranteed in life. One of them's death, taxes, and whatever you think today is going to change tomorrow. So just eyes wide open at all times.
Yep.
Heather, appreciate you as coming a part of this. If anybody wants to talk to you about running a business, property management, maybe roofing marketing, how are they going to get in contact with you? What's the best way?
Super simple. Heather at geeklymedia.com.
Heather at geeklymedia.com.
I don't do social media. Sorry. It's not a thing.
It does not work. So
I have help with my email. Nobody helps with my LinkedIn.
Well, Heather, I appreciate your time. Thank you for stopping by.
Of course. Thanks for inviting me. This was fantastic for having to do a podcast.
You can now leave the torture chamber. Stay awesome, everybody. Keep doing it big. Stay super.
Awesome.
Adios.
Thanks, Matt.